as well. So we're presently in chapter 4 of the book. We're looking at the good life, and we're talking about social fitness. And social fitness is just talking about ability to be able to make and maintain relationships. That's all. And today we're talking about loneliness, what it means to be lonely. So we're talking about different types of loneliness. So I just finished talking about spiritual loneliness. The next one is existential loneliness, where people feel a sense of, separation from everyone else and the world as a whole. That's what makes people go commit suicide. They just feel that they have no connection to everything else. Is that something you've heard about? Have you seen someone that's lonely before?
Sure.
Yeah. So any example you want to share of someone being lonely?
So like someone I know, I think in his case, it's well, like people used to say that sometimes you might have someone or people around you and you can still be lonely.
Absolutely.
That was the example of that person then. We were together, but I could see that it was like suffering depression, I think, because he was not talking. If you ask him questions, he'll hardly give you an answer, or he has a programmed answer, like somebody just giving. Maybe you say, "How are you?" It's just fine. How is today?
Yeah.
Fine. How is everything? Fine. So it's like the same answer for almost every question.
Yeah.
He wasn't opening up. And
Yeah.
then unfortunately, someone that seems he was opening up to passed on. So with that, it makes it difficult for him to open up to any other person after the
Yeah.
demise of that close pal.
Yeah.
So I saw that even though there were other people around, there were people who seemed to be interested, he will not open up to them.
Yeah. Loneliness is not real. Loneliness is a perception. It's the way he sees the world. It's a prism through which you see the world. It's a feeling that people don't understand you. It's a feeling that, there's a separation between you and the people around you. You can't tell them the things that are important to you. They won't understand. It's a judgment that the person has made. So it has nothing to do with, you can have a crowd around you and still be lonely if you think that they don't appreciate the things that are important to you, right? Or so that case you're talking about is what we'll call a chronic loneliness, because loneliness at this simple level is a symptom that the person is not having the right social engagement, right? So the person can do something about it because it's just a symptom. It's just like hunger. When you feel hunger pain, it means that you are hungry. You go and eat, right? But if you don't eat, then you can go on to starvation, right? The same way loneliness tells you that you're not rightly engaging socially, right? So if you do something about that feeling or that initial perception, you come out of it. But if you don't do anything about it, it begins to take resident on the inside of you. And it can get to a place where it becomes a part of you. That's what they call chronic loneliness. And it's more difficult to come out of it once it's chronic. Because even when you want to come out of it, you almost inadvertently do things that will make you not come out of it, because your whole system is wrapped around wanting to keep that status quo. You don't want to keep it, but your system is wrapped around keeping that status quo. You begin to do the things that are not, you don't want to do, just because your system is trying to stay within that status quo. So you have to, it takes more, you have to double your effort to come out of it. If you don't intentionally stand up to come out of it, you cannot come out of it, because at that point in time, you're a prisoner of it. You have been held captive. You're a lawful captive of loneliness at that point in time. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. Some of the signs of loneliness, you know, you want to say something?
No, I have a question,
Okay.
but when you
Oh, go ahead.
finish,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask your
okay.
question.
I don't know, maybe you might have treated it before in some sessions that I might have missed, or maybe you still have intention of doing that. But
Mm-hmm.
my question is, how do we help people like that? How do we, and if possible, in fact, this has been in my mind for long. I've been wishing I have a time to equally ask you if you can equally share your practical experience of how people in that state can be helped, can be, because I know it also deals with, apart from that person being lonely, I could sense some forms of depression. And like immediately I came in now, I remember a few minutes later you were talking about some having suicidal thoughts and the like. And at the time when someone who happened to be a psychologist interviewed that person that was talking about, one of the questions
Mm-hmm.
that you asked was, do you at any time having thoughts of going to commit suicide? And surprisingly, this person said yes.
Yeah,
And he's
it
a
is.
Christian. I
Yeah,
was really surprised. That, wow, so this is as serious as it.
it is.
So at some point, he has called on me to help him. And maybe
Mm,
because I wasn't so skilled in that area, it was not something I've really handled so much. I got
mm,
confused. There was not so
mm,
much I could do. I had to talk to some psychologists who are friends in the church, who are
mm,
professionals to their own advice. So, but I want to ask,
mm,
how do we help people like that? Because at instances, at least I've met close to two or three. In fact, there was a time I have two core members who are in my
mm,
church, and I discovered that they were psychologically disturbed. In fact, when we come to
mm,
church, he will not talk to anybody, and he will not
mm,
allow you to get. At the time he started living alone, we don't even know where he's living, and he will always be in church.
mm. Yeah. All right. I have some things on date in front. If at the end of the day I
Okay,
don't fully answer it, ask me again. Will address it directly.
okay.
All right. So the signs of such include, you know, when you find someone that's lonely, you find them
Okay,
that they overdo things, right? They overshare. When they find someone that will listen to them and it's a topic they are interested in, they overshare. You know, they
okay,
overcompensate. You know,
okay.
seemingly wanting to come out of it, you know. So you find them overdoing things, you know. Uh they talk a whole lot about friends. Oh, I want to have friends. They do a lot of talking about wanting to have friends, wanting to have connection, you know. But overdoing it doesn't help them. It's just that at that point in time, it's just a reaction. And reaction does not help. It has to be a proactive, intentional step to come out, right? It's not you just reacting to the feeling, right? Because the person's in chain at that point in time is a prisoner, right? So the only way you're going to do to come out of prison is to be proactive and intentional and focused to address the real issues, not just the symptoms, right? So
Yeah.
one thing is also such people are the people that get, you know, people that get abused, people that are lonely will be throwing themselves about, you know. So you find people that is in a relationship where they are abused and they cannot leave, is because they are lonely, right? They are looking for connection. They have not rightly valued or priced themselves. So they sell themselves cheap, right?
Mm,
They can even prostitute for the seeming person that is connecting to them, right? Because they feel that they don't have no other person will price them, right? I once canceled a Malaysian lady, you know, who called me for who were chatting together, canceling her. You know, she had a Cameroonian boyfriend who was living in a house. You know, that Cameroonian boyfriend was physically abusing her, right? She was the one, that Cameroonian boyfriend wasn't working. She was the one sponsoring his leading style, you know. Yet she did not want to leave him because she said that if she leaves him, no other, she thinks no other person would love her. She won't find someone else, right? That is a sign of someone that's lonely, someone that's not has no value, of him or herself, So they seemingly throw themselves in trying to fight the loneliness, right? Because almost they've never connected to someone. This one person looks their direction. They will almost like do anything to keep that person, right? So when you find someone that is always putting other people's need before their own, you know, there's possibly a loneliness in that person's life, when I used to think that you could, if you kill yourself for somebody, that is love, but that's not true, right? Killing yourself for somebody is not necessarily love. Love will do that, but just killing yourself doesn't mean that you love somebody. So if you look at 1 Corinthians 13, it says that even if you kill yourself, but without love, that is nothing. Meaning that it's possible to kill yourself for someone without loving the person. It could just be because you are looking for something. You are trying to get out of jail, not necessarily because you love that person, right? So just because someone kills or gives their life doesn't mean they did it out of love. It might just be out of trying to come out of the loneliness in their life, right? So, but you find people like that, it's because they are lonely, they are depressed, right? Also, if you find someone that is feeling the need to overly help or be nice, that person is lonely. Right? If someone feels what we call niceaholic or compulsive niceness, right? The niceness that does not make sense, is because the person is lonely, is looking for association. It's not because of love. Love is not a compulsive niceness. Love might be compulsive goodness, not niceness. Niceness and goodness are not the same thing, right? If you're compulsively nice, it's because you are lonely, right? Meaning there are times that you're being good might mean that you are not nice to some people, right? God is not a nice God. God is a good look God. Meaning God can kill someone. If you're a nice person, you can't kill anybody. Niceness does not kill. Goodness will kill. Because if goodness sees that killing you is better for you, it will be good for you, it will kill you. But niceness will never see killing as being good for you, because always trying to win your approval. Niceness wants to win your approval. Goodness is doing what is good for you, not necessarily whether you like the person or not is immaterial, right? So those are like symptoms of someone that might be lonely. Did you want to say something before I continue?
No. You can go ahead.
All right. So typically, another sign of loneliness is the person just feels empty, is alone, and feels unwanted, feels undesirable, right? Feels isolated. He feels invisible, that nobody's seeing me, right? He feels like he doesn't belong to anybody, to anywhere, or to anything, right? He could also be someone that is obsessed with friendship, just friends. You don't want to be friends, anyone that is craving for human contact. Oh no, but their state of mind, when, like I say again, in all of this trying to pursue these things, they do things, they want to friendship, but what they do seemingly takes them away from friends. If you have someone that is compulsively nice, you cannot be friends with that person, because they'll be so nice that they will irritate you, right? But the person that wanting to be nice is doing it because he wants to be your friend, but you then get irritated by that seeming compulsiveness, right? So they're doing things to be close to people, but they're overdoing it in such a way that it gets the wrong result, of what they are trying to